Welcome to Knackerbox Garage, a Scratchy Pants production.
Happy first of the month because it is February. We're out of January, we're in February, we're potentially in the coldest, don't know why I'm looking out the window for the temperature, coldest month of a New England winter, or at least it is in my part of Massachusetts. So, the Guzzi is done, it's running, we fired it up yesterday, it was great. Truth be told, I did have a little bit of a brain fart when I set it up. I set the ignition up when I didn't have it on the compression stroke, I had it on the exhaust stroke, so I was 180 degrees out, and it didn't take me long to figure that out, so I just retimed it, moved the sensor, and when you see the start up, that's after I'd taken the tank off again, pulled the dizzy cap, slackened off the trigger, set the timing correctly, tightened it back up, and apart from the little where I tried to start it with the engine in the off position on the slider on the handlebars, once we figured that out, it went very well. It went with a bang actually, which you'll have seen in the last episode. So we're on new stuff. We've got the Rickman on the bench, and we've got a little project here, which I will talk about. So this is the idler pulley for my belt sander that I picked up off the side of the road, and the bearings are very crappy. It was screaming last time I turned it on. The main drive works really well. This is, this isn't that great. I'm just going to pop the bearings out. I was thinking I could clean them up, but maybe it's just a case of popping 6 20 12 6 2. I can't read it, but I'll order a new pair of bearings. We'll pop the little circlip off, slide it out, new bearings in, get rid of all the crap that's in it because it's full of dust. It's got these little plastic covers that go over either end that are there to stop crap going inside. They don't work that well, but they work to some effect, but this was full of powder. And I'm guessing the other one is exactly the same. So I'll order a pair of bearings and that'll be that. The Rickman. Right, the Rickman is leaking oil. And I've not got her up on the... Let's get her up. Let's get her up and see if we can see underneath. There we go. We'll do that. We'll turn the valve off. There we go. So, somewhere under here, I appear to be... Oh, look, there's oil. There's oil there. There's oil here. There's oil on the primary side. Yeah, there's oil here. Yeah, it's a bit oily. There's oil on the main case. It may be, and I have done this on this, it may be that it just needs a nip up with the nuts and bolts, but it is leaking a bit of oil. I seem to have some oil coming from here somewhere as well, which is gearbox side. This stuff, let's do the ultimate test. Yes, it's engine oil. It's not gearbox oil. So we'll try and neaten that up and make sure all is good there. So that's one thing I've got to do on this. The main, and don't lose my 2mm. That shouldn't be laying there. I did a poor job of clearing up. So the other thing that I need to do on this is, put that down, is the chain needs adjusting. And I've got a half link here. I'm not a fan of half links. So I'd like to remove that. And the way that the chain is adjusted on this bike is, this is an eccentric washer, and you move the swing arm in and out. I think it looks fairly central. I've got a bag of special washers. It's going to involve undoing this, slacking off the nut, pulling the swing arm out. So I've got to lift this up. I've got that handy lift jack thing that Bob gave me. Thanks, Bob. So I can use that to lift the bike up, get the rear wheel free, and then I can slide everything about. So this shouldn't be too much of an involved video, but who knows. So it'll be Rickman and belt sander repairs. Absolutely thrilling. Alrighty, welcome back to working on the belt sander. So I ordered some bearings, and 2 bearings were roughly the same price as 8 bearings or 10 bearings. So I thought I'd order 10 because they were the same price. I've gone for neoprene shield instead of metal shield, and I've just got them literally. They've literally just been sent here, and what I should do is, rather than get them caught in there or try and do that, is heat that up with my hot air gun after I've cleaned all the dust and the gunge out of it, and then drop these in, preferably without burning myself, because I don't think they're going to drive in on their own. But now I've got one stuck, we can try and see if I can wiggle that out. There we go, he's out. So those two go in. I'll put the cover back on this, put those in the toolbox, and then I can say, why have I got those bearings? What are they for? And I'll never know. But, well, I will. So I'm going to clean that up, warm it up with the hot air gun. I'll bring you back, and we'll push them in. So new bearings in, circlips on the end. It was hot, I couldn't hold the camera, so I just put them on, and spins really nicely. Now I'm just going to put this back in the belt sander, tighten up the belt, get it spinning properly, and I'm back to working properly. But that was quite an easy little thing to do. The use of the hot air gun to warm this, because it's lovely cold right now, was key. Get the aluminum hot so it expands, the bearings going really easy. Just like you do with engine bearings. So a little bit of a welding interlude. I've made some flowers. We got an art show coming up, which is Themis flowers. I've made some tulips out of old spoons, really. Spoons and nails and rods. So I'm just gonna tack them together. It's a bit bloody hot, so I won't pick it up, but there's the weld. And the thing it's going into, I got this old pulley for a couple of dollars somewhere. I figured they could stand in that. I'm going to build some leaves around the bottom, add more spoon handles, and take those in place, get that in here, get it so it's nice and tight, and then TIG it to the bottom so the weld's underneath. I think that'll work. I can use the bronze rod on that. It'll be relatively easy. And there it is, rustic flowers, otherwise known as 3 tulips. yo, or yo. So Rick is on the bench, Guzzi's here. And I've moved it out a little bit because there's a little bit of a feature that's going on. Lights are switched to off. Turn the ignition on. Lights come on. Headlights off. And what's this? Well, it appears to be when I adjusted the brake light, or the rear brake light switch, I may have pulled it too far up, so the brake light is permanently on. So as the Ricky is on the bench, I get to crawl around underneath it, which is why it's moved out, get into here and adjust the brake light switch. So I'm going to get some wrenches out and get myself in position and do that, and then we'll see how we do. So having crawled along the floor, ignition is on, light is off, hit the button, light goes on. Man, that was a pain in the arse to get to, because you kind of got to crawl on the floor, get behind here, get behind here. Of course, to get down there with 13mm spanners, they're too big. Get up, go to the drawer, get 12s, get back down, too big. Okay, it's 10s. Open the drawer, get 2 10s, get down there. Yep, that's the right size. So third time's the charm. Alrighty, so we're going to look at the Rickman chain adjustment. So I've got to pull the split pin off, slacken this off, pull out the spacer, pull out the spindle, because the washers, no, it's got to be in here. The washers for the adjustment are these guys. These are eccentric washers where holes, and they're all given a different number, the holes basically show you where the swing arm spindle should be, and they move. So I have to figure out what's in there, and then I can figure out which ones I need, because ideally what I'm trying to do is lose this one link. So I've got a half link there, and although these are okay, it's not really something I want. I'd sooner have that be just a normal chain, and I think I have enough. There's enough slack there, I think, for me to be able to do that. So that means pushing the swing arm this way. Of course, it depends on how the eccentric is there. If this swing arm is already that way a lot, I've got to leave that half link where it is and move the swing arm that way. So these are the adjusters I got with the bike. I will go through, see what's in there, and then try and figure out which one I need. But hopefully I've got the right ones. So I'll pull that off and pull the spindle out and bring you back. So I've taken the washer off. This was the number one that sat in there. It's got nice little M6 holes that you can pull them off with. And now you can see there's a slot which the axle will move on, or the spindle, swing arm spindle moves on, and we've got all these offsets that we can use. So what I should do next, disconnect the chain, remove that link, put it back together, see where it comes close by pushing it, make sure the chain's tight, and seeing where I can get it. But I've got a feeling I'm probably going to be down here, like number 9, number 8, something like that. Maybe number 10, because that actually looks as though it was used. So maybe that's that. The other thing that I'll then want to check out as well is the rear brake, because I'm not sure what the shoes are in this. I haven't taken it. Have I taken it off? I may have taken this off, but I'm going to get this sorted out first. Then I can pull the rear wheel out and see what the shoes are like, and maybe order some new rear shoes. I think they're very similar to my Bull Taco, but I'm not 100% sure. Maybe there's some markings on them which will give me a bit of a clue. But I've also got to take the other washer off this side. So it's one either side. It's probably very loose. So I'll do that next. So not exactly disaster, but
and I've taken my gloves off, and I've got my hands really filthy, but basically the chain won't make it. I just need, if I pull on this really tightly, you can see it jumps the sprocket. It's great there, but if I pull it up and go that extra one, it's just too tight. So what I've got to do, I've got to pull the spacers off. That's a number 10. It just hasn't got enough room in there. And in fact, the 10 would pull it back a bit, so it'd be even tighter. So I've got to go for that half link. So I've got to put that back in. I do have absolutely tiny miniature split pins like that in the box of split pins I got from my dad all those years ago. So I'm going to put the half link back in, and we will go from there. So bit of a cock up there, sorry about that. I'll put it back together, get the chain tension right, and then we'll figure out which of those discs I'm going to use. We had one in there which was centric, so I got a feeling we'll probably use number 2, but put it in around the other way because now we want to go that way. So that's probably what's going to happen. Thanks. Okay, so I don't want you to see in there. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Let's just give it a wipe. You should be able to see in there number 2. I did put the number 3s in. The chain was too tight with the number 3s. Now, I would say that's about perfect. I've got to redo the brake rod. Number 2 on this side. I'll put the nut and the washers on. Get the spindle straight, and put a new split pin either end. I don't know whether I want to go down to the hardware store and get some R clips because I've got split pins, so why don't I just use those? So I'll do that, tighten her up. Should be able to get my grease gun on the grease nipple. You can just see it through there, give it a squirt, and I've got the chain back with the half link, new split pin on that, and this is on. At some point I want to put a bigger drive sprocket on it because it's pretty low geared. I mean, 60 miles an hour is as much as you want to do. I don't like revving engines hard, and I know Triumphs like to rev, but this thing starts to get a little uncomfortable at 60. I mean, it's fun, don't get me wrong, but I don't like to thrash my bikes too much. Anyway, all that aside, start putting it back together, and we can start looking at the oil leak, because I'm going to say that chain is tensioned. So we're looking at my my oil filter that I put in there. That's really, really nice. And I'm looking at the run for the outlet, and I'm looking at this kink here, there, where this tube is wrapped around this one. And I can only assume that I've put it on and piped it up and then lifted it up and pushed it up to the filter. And I don't like that kink. That needs to be resolved. So what I need to do is unmount the filter, disconnect the hose, pull it this side, remount the filter, adjust the hose length, and then push it back on here. Because that kink is a restriction, and I know it's the outlet, it's the so it's not the suction, which is good, and this is the pressurized feed that goes up to the rockers. So it's not super duper critical because it's pressurized. Still doesn't mean it's great though. So I am going to change that, because anything that affects the running of the engine to me is key. So that needs changing. So next time we're in the workshop, we'll pop this guy off. This was a pretty fancy little bracket setup I made. Goes through this bolt, and I think this one. I think it's on the other side of that one. Yeah, it is. So should be easy to take off. I can loosen it up. I don't have to drop it off the mounting bracket. I don't want you to see the battery charger in the way, but there's a couple of Allen screws there. don't have to do that. I just drop the bracket down, disconnect, untangle the hose, put it all back up, and then push it back onto here. Probably need to be shortened up just a little bit, just to get that, but that kink's not good. The hose should come this way. I thought I'd done that, but I'm pleased I've caught that. I haven't done many miles on it like this, so and I have checked the oil flow back to the top tube, and it's great, so that's all right. And I'm just wandering around looking at oil leaks, or looking for oil leaks. I've cleaned it up underneath. I do have some oil coming from somewhere. I actually wonder if it's coming out of the primary chain adjuster. I've not really looked at that. I've checked the primary chain tension with the adjuster here. It looks a bit oily. Maybe I should pull that off and have a look and see what state it's in. Brake's pretty good. Yeah, there's no ignition on this. No switch. Needless to say, I don't ride it places and leave it anywhere. Well, I don't think anybody could start it anyway, so that's the other thing. Anyway, so a little bit of repiping or rerouting of oil pipes to do. Maybe a primary adjustment. I have taken the cover off the primary, and I think it's pretty tight. I don't think it's loose. We've had the primary cover off. At least I think we've had the primary cover off. Yeah. Although the chrome cleaner, maybe I haven't had the primary cover off this. I thought I had. So I've taken both footrests off. Yeah, I must have done. Yeah, I think this is where it's probably leaking. Look, there's oil there as well. So maybe that's where I'm getting my oil weeps from the primary side, from the adjuster, and from, I'm guessing that's the level. So, a couple of things to be done on the oily side. Yo, it's Sunday morning. It's the Sunday morning, in fact, episode 8 came out. And I'm trying to think. My dear old buddy Ian said to me, either on a text or in a message, he goes, nice to see your workshop's a mess again. Because my stuff, well, I generally pile stuff. And it was meant as a compliment. And I thought to myself, you know, I built that nice, beautiful workshop. I built a beautiful bench, put a really fancy wood top on it, and you can't see it. So I cleaned it. Didn't actually take me long either. And mostly, when I say I've cleaned it, I've done a me clean. I've just piled stuff up, vacuumed and tried to wipe down the top a bit, put all my stuff away underneath, and I'm going to work on the Rickman. So that's about it. Let me get some wrenches and stuff, loosen some things up, and then I'll bring it back. Okay, so here's the Ricky oil filter. It's on a bracket that I made. I just want to loosen it down. And have I created an oil leak there, I wonder? So there it is, it's loose. What I now want to do is undo this, pull that hose through, flip it over the top and put it back, and then check that I haven't, because I seem to have oil there. So I need to check that I've not got, I don't want there to be chafing. Maybe there is, maybe that's where my additional oil leak is coming from. I haven't got the best tools to look at that, but the plan is undo this guy, pull this hose off. I'm going to get a drip tray to put under here, put the hose over the top, whip it back on after I've inspected it. But let me get this off and we'll have a look. Fingers, you can see there's no damage to the hose. It's a bit squished. I've just pushed this back on because it was dripping a little bit of oil. So the plan is screw this back up, well, put the bracket back up, really. That's what I want to do. We can slide this down. The screw actually on the Jubilee clip wasn't super tight, and it looks like, looking at this, I've got my, oh, see, there's one issue. The same thing I did on my T140 needs doing to this. So I've got a spare gasket. I don't have the spare seal though. Oh, I may have the spare seal. If I can get the steel ring out, I should do that, and that means I've got to get another cotter pin, and I need to put really a proper one on my T140. So maybe I need to suck it up and spend some more money with Mr. Mitch Clemf again, which I'll leave until. Sorry, got a dribbly nose. I'll leave until the end of this week and wait until I get my pocket money. So we'll carry on with this for a bit. It's too long. So what I'm going to do is I need to pull it and twist it a bit, but it should be cut roughly there where my thumb is. Just snip the end off and slide it back on the pipe, crimp it up tight. Most of the oil is coming out at the end of it, but let's just get the tools on it. So you can see, actually most of the oil is coming out from the gearbox, so it's gearbox oil that's all over it. Either way, it needs pulling, and we need to move that kink. So I need to shorten this. It's just about to drip a little bit of oil. Shorten that by about 1 inch, and then pop it on and clamp it up, and should be good.